Hey yo, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to share with you 3 no BS amazing gen rushing builds for Dead by Daylight. So when it comes to winning a game in Dead by Daylight, there's a lot of advice out there and there's a lot of things people say. One is like, oh, you need game experience for sure. You got to know what the killers do. You got to be good at looping and extending chase to give your teammates time to do gens. Yes, that is true. Yes, that is harder to do unless you've got some time in the game. There's also people who say, well, use this build or use that build or use these perks or use anti-tunneling. There's a lot of good things to use in Dead by Daylight, but at the end of the day, the single most effective thing you can do to carry games and to win more games is to actually just get the fucking gens done. Do the damn objective. And the best part about these gen rushing builds is that they are very beginner friendly. Even if you are not the best at chase, the time you're going to save using these gen rushing builds on getting gens done really gives you a lot of slack. Even if you're not the best at chase or you're playing with like a subpar team, if you're getting the gens done in a prompt manner, that still puts pressure on the killer. And even if your chasers are ass and you're not stalling long enough, you can still clutch out some games and get gens done with these gen rushing builds. So let's hop into it. The first build I've got here is actually a hybrid build. So first things first, all of these gen rushing builds are going to feature the Commodious toolbox or the Masquerade toolbox. Same thing, 32 charges, increases your repair speed by 50%, also gives you the ability to sabotage hooks. So whenever you're playing a gen rush build or have a toolbox anyways, something you want to keep in the back of your mind is that you actually could save your teammates by sabotaging hooks. Now, you don't have to just play around all game trying to get this done, but if you happen to be in the neighborhood and the killer's walking to a hook nearby you, by all means, sabotage the damn hook and save your teammates. Sabotaging a hook requires 6 charges. So the add-ons we're using, not only does the toolbox do a couple things. One, it lets you do gens 50% quicker. Because you're doing gens quicker, you get prompted for skill checks quicker. Remember that, that's going to be key in some of these builds. And also, you're saving a ton of time. Like a fully equipped Masquerade toolbox with wire spools for 12 extra charges and scraps for 8 extra charges will save you, I think it's something like 22 seconds on the gen, 22 point something seconds on a generator. And because we're going to be bringing Built to Last in a lot of these builds with us, it's a Felix Richter perk. If you don't have him, I strongly recommend getting him because Built to Last will let you use your toolbox 3 additional times. Each time you get 33% less charge. So the first time you get 99% back, so you basically get a whole another use out of your toolbox. The second time, you get 66% back, and the last time you get 33%. So 33 plus 66 is basically 1 other full toolbox, so 3 full toolbox charges. Now, I do want to make a note here that socket swivels increase your toolbox repair speed by 30 seconds, and they're actually a little bit better than scraps because they will save you 1 additional second compared to scraps. Why I prefer to take scraps over the socket swivels is because, one, like I said, keep in mind that you can sabotage hooks. A sabotage takes 6 charges, so I'd rather have the 8 extra charges for the chance at getting another sabotage save than the extra 30%, which would save me maybe about a second on a gen per use of a toolbox. Just personal preference. If you want, you could use the socket swivels, make it a little bit faster, but I prefer having the extra charges in case I do need to get a sabotage, which is why I really prefer the scraps over the socket swivels. So let's hop in it. First build, guys. Like I said, Built to Last, already explained it. Idea behind this is we're going to be just shredding through generators. As soon as we find a gen, we hop on, use our toolbox. Whenever we're done, hop into a locker for 12 seconds, get our toolbox back, hop into the next gen. We're also bringing the Streetwise. Streetwise is absolutely freaking insane. You get 25% extra reduction on your consumption rate for items, which means your big ass toolbox that already lasts a long time lasts 25% longer. And this also works on your allies. If anybody else is with you with a toolbox, or if you have a buddy who brings Streetwise, also Streetwises do stack and like prove thyself, you guys can shred through gens hella quick. Now, like I said, something to keep in mind when you're using the Masquerade toolbox is that you have the option to sabotage. So this first build is actually kind of a hybrid build because we're gen rushing, but we also got a little bit in store to sabotage to save our teammates. Saboteur, whenever the killer picks up a survivor, you can see hook auras within 56 meters of you. Scourge hooks will be shown in yellow. This also lets you sabotage without using your toolbox. It'll take you 2.3 seconds to do so. I think the toolbox sabo is a little bit quicker, or maybe about the same time. Don't quote me on that. But we have Saboteur just so you can find the hooks and see the scourge hooks and use it to get a Saboteur save. And so you make it to the hook in time. We have background player. Whenever the killer picks up another survivor, you can run for 150% quicker for 5 seconds. Now, whether you're using this to rotate between gens or using this to try to get to the hook on time to get a save, background player is a very useful perk, and it actually works really well with this kind of hybrid build, gen rushing / sabotaging and saving your teammates. Now, as we go further in this episode, the gen rushing builds are going to get more hardcore and more hardcore. Probably not the right word choice. But anyways, the last gen rush build on this video is basically going to be the best build to save the most time on a generator. There is no other perk combination or item combination that's going to save you more time. So build number 2. Build number 2 is another fun one. Like I said, we've got our staples here. Massacre Toolbox, add-ons, built to last. You definitely need Felix Richter if you don't have him yet for this perk. But we're bringing Hyperfocus. Hyperfocus is a unique perk. Whenever you hit a great skill check, when you're healing or repairing gens, you get 1 token. Each of these tokens increases your chances of getting another skill check by 4%, increases the skill check speed by 4%, making it a little harder to get it. And then you get an extra 30% of your skill check's base value, and this stacks up to 6 times. So not only are we doing gens, but if we hit great skill checks, we're getting more progress on gens and more skill checks to get even more progress on generators. We're combining this with Stakeout. Stakeout's a great perk to bring when you have Hyperfocus, because when you're within the killer's terror radius for 15 seconds, you'll get a token up to 4. And whenever you would miss a great skill check and just get a good skill check, you'll consume a token and you get a great skill check instead with an extra 1% bonus to your generator repair progress. Fun fact, Stakeout also works for healing, so be mindful if you're healing your teammates, you might use some of your Stakeout stacks on accident. But this works great because you can get up to 4 stacks of Stakeout. So even if you're ass at hitting your great skill checks, if you do get your Stakeout stacks, you can still hit at least 4 with Hyperfocus, and that's enough to put a huge dent in the gen. And a really fun perk I like using with this setup is actually Fogwise. Whenever you hit great skill checks on generators, you see the killer's aura for 6 seconds. Sure, you could use Poised. Whenever you get on the gen the first time, you see the killer's aura for a bit, and then you lose your scratch marks when a gen's done. But I still think Fogwise is slept on and way better, because when you're hammering this out, you're doing gens really fast and you're getting skill checks really fast. A lot of times you can basically get almost permanent aura reading on the killer's whereabouts, and it's like pretty fun because you're not only working on gens, but you're just watching the killer and seeing what the killer's doing the whole time. So it's like watching a movie. Works really well with this gen rush build, and also lets you be very safe when you're using said build. Now we're going to segue into the final and the, I'm hesitant to say it, but it's probably the best gen rushing build, because this one has all the bread and all the butter. Build number 3. So this one, you might notice a couple similar perks from our other builds. We got the same toolbox setup here. We're using Deja Vu. Deja Vu, talked about this in a ton of videos, reveals the aura of the 3 generators that are closest to each other. And when you work on those gens, you get a 6% repair speed bonus, which is great. Shaves off a couple seconds, good. But the real vitality here is that literally, if you're a beginner player and you use this build, you can shred through gens so easily because you always know where the gens are on indoor maps like Midwich or Hawkins Laboratory. You don't have to waste time finding gens. And not only do you not have to waste any time finding gens, you get straight to the gens, but also when you're working on the Deja Vu gens, you are countering a 3-gen situation. That's why when the last 3 gens are real close together, and the killer has an easy time defending it because they're so close together. But if you do the Deja Vu gens, the last 3 gens on the map will be really spread apart, so you have a really good chance of getting them all done and getting an escape. Deja Vu, amazing, amazing perk, but it's even better because we're bringing built to last again. Like I said, refill that toolbox up to 3 additional times, get extra repair speed, do a gen, get a toolbox back, do another gen, get a toolbox back, do another gen, maybe do some salvo saves, do what you want to do with it. Streetwise for the extra charges on our already long toolbox. And the best part about this build is we're actually bringing Hyperfocus. Now this one's a little advanced because we're not bringing Stakeout with Hyperfocus this time, but we do still get the skill check bonuses and the extra skill checks from Hyperfocus. So if you are a decent player, if you're playing on PC, it's a little harder to hit it on console. You can shave off so much time on gens. Not only do you have a huge toolbox, you're refilling your toolbox, you have extra charges in your toolbox, you're breaking up the 3 gens, you never have to look for the damn generators, and You have hyper focus, which can be clutch at shaving off extra time. There is no setup in the game that's going to finish a generator faster for Survivor unless you bring like Prove Thyself and have someone else working on a generator with you, but I'd rather have the Deja Vu. This is the creme de la creme of gen rushing builds. This is the build that's just like, hey, you're on a mission to get gens done, and you can get them done easy peasy pumpkin schneezy. Now, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like on this video, comment down below, and let me know which build is your favorite and what style you like to play the most. And until next time, have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile and have fun gen rushing, and let me know if you're actually getting some good wins because you're getting gens done. Like seriously, when you use builds like this, you'll probably be the one on your team that gets 2 to 3 gens done, maybe even 4, But anyways, that's it for this one, guys. I'm out. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.